Welcome to the Instagram stories for Monday, March 28th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. If you're not familiar, we talk about what head of Instagram Adam Mosseri shared on his Ask Me Anything on Mondays. That's just what we do. Here's a clip to explain.
Time for the weekly Ask Me Anything. Going to look for questions specifically about the future of feed, the future of Instagram more broadly, given this week's announcements, but haven't answered anything. So ask a question here and I'll do my best to answer it.
Okay, now you got the concept. The first question, how do I switch between following and faves? This is referring to the new home feed options that you can pick. Algorithmic, following feed, which is in chronological order, and faves, which is your favorites. Here's his answer.
This week we launched 2 new feeds on Instagram, both following and favorites. And you can get to them by pressing and holding on the Instagram icon at the top of Instagram, and then you'll be able to see those options right there and switch and use them to get to the content you want to see.
I've mentioned this before, but in case you've missed it, the favorites part actually builds off the close friends list that you have. So if you've set up close friends for sharing your stories with your inner circle, your favorites will automatically be those people plus whoever you decide to add, which is a smart way to do it, and I like that. Next question. Why are you showing me things from people I don't follow in my feed? These are the suggested posts that you see in your feed. Here's the answer.
What we're trying to do is help people discover things on Instagram that they don't know about yet and might love. So we're looking to bring more and more recommendations into feed, and we're going to continue to do so, but we also want to make sure you've got some control, hence the following feed that launched this week.
All right, let's break down that answer a little bit. Showing you things from people who you don't follow is natively how TikTok is designed. Obviously, you can go to the following tab and you can see all the content from people that you follow, but the For You tab is really the strength of the TikTok app, which does not show you much content from people that you follow on purpose. It wants to show you things you've never seen before that are amazing. That is what Instagram is trying to capture by showing you things from people that you don't follow. If you want a very controlled experience, well then it would make sense that you would want to limit it and lock it down. But if you want to find out about all the great content that is out there, you want those suggestions, honestly. I get why you would want to flip back and forth between those options as feeds though. In that same vein, let's go to the next question. Do you think algorithms are good or bad? I would say that depending on what kind of experience you want, an algorithm could be really good. If you want to just see amazing content, then you want an algorithm. If you only care about what your family and friends are doing or people that you know very well that you care about a lot, then an algorithm is going to be bad for that experience. If you follow a ton of different brands, people, accounts, an algorithm could be good because it's going to make the good content bubble to the top, or it could be bad because you're not going to see the things you really care about. Here's his answer.
I believe in personalization. I think by ranking content, we make the most of people's time. We help them connect with the people that they care about. We create value for creators and for businesses. But I also believe people should have a control over their experience. So it's about balance.
This is a really interesting discussion to me because we talk about how feed is ordered a lot, but no one ever talks about how stories are ordered. Stories are in an algorithm just the same way the feed is. In fact, stories are designed to show you the stories from the people Instagram thinks you care about most first, and then subsequently see the stories from people you care about less and less and less as you scroll to the right. That's an algorithm. That's something that's been in place since 2016, and we're all fine with that. So to a certain extent, you're used to an algorithm. All right, last question, and it's a good one. Why didn't you make the main feed chronological? I don't want to have to tap a button every time. Hey, this is a good question. The default is the Instagram algorithmic homepage feed. You can change it between following and favorites, but the default is always going to be the way Instagram chooses to have the algorithm. Here's Adam Mosseri's answer.
Because when we've done that in the past, we've seen not only do people use Instagram less, but they're less satisfied with Instagram when we ask them. And it also makes Instagram less valuable for all of their friends. So we thought this was the right balance between giving people control, but also personalizing the experience.
Hey, you're never going to make everyone happy. But fundamentally, I think there are different usage experiences we're talking about here. The experience where you want to see everything your family and friends are doing, and that's most important to you, or the experience where you want to just see new, amazing content. Those two experiences are very different, and I think Instagram's really struggling to try to give everyone what they want, but still fill those two needs as much as possible, which you're never going to do both perfectly. I mean, that's the biggest thing right there. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks for listening, and be sure to come back tomorrow for more Instagram news.
I'm not yet a member of the Instagram team, but my podcast covers many Instagram themes. But the name, image, logos are trademarks of Instagram and the LCC in the USA and every territory. Everything I publish independently. Until they let me run my team and start to pay my salary. Not sponsored or endorsed, no lies, no fallacy. I use their logo with permission, not malicious or callously. No trademark violation, filling all criteria. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Daniel Hill Media.
Hey, I was wondering, do you have any ideas on how I could make a video show of social media news? Like maybe to partner with some people or company to help me do like the scripting part and the editing part and the lighting part, and I just do the talking part, because the talking part is easy, but all those other parts are hard. However, I think there's a lot more social media news that I could cover and talk about. I just don't have the resources to do it myself. Hit me back with some ideas if you don't mind.